She was a devoted mother, raising 6 kids on her own.
That's a struggle for any parent. It becomes a lot, it's draining.
Then she met the man of her dreams.
Imagine someone willing to come into your life with 6 kids. This is the person I want to be with for the rest of my life.
But the rest of her life was much shorter than she thought.
She had nearly 50 stab wounds to her body.
Slaughtered is the only way to put it.
The entire community is rocked.
Was it a jealous ex?
He was mean and threatening voicemails.
Violence is his go-to.
He had a lengthy criminal history.
He recently was released from prison.
Or was the answer far worse than anyone imagined?
His friend was gunned down in the exact same spot.
What's wrong with you?
He's a monster.
He wanted someone to pay.
Stop!
He said, I just killed you.
July 20th, 2010. It's a warm summer morning in Nashville, Tennessee, America's fast-growing music city.
Nashville, it's just transformed radically. There's like 100 people a day moving here.
We've become a very high touristy area, which has pushed aside some of our Black neighborhoods.
People are being priced out of their homes.
However, the Bordeaux neighborhood just north of downtown is a rare exception in this rapidly changing city.
It's an area that has a lot of history and a lot of pride in its history.
It is a neighborhood that has been historically Black.
The families that live there have lived there for a long time.
They want to stay there.
But this Tuesday morning, 30-year-old Bordeaux resident Asia Wade has seemingly disappeared.
Asia, open up!
Asia's sister had been trying to reach her since the night before, but all her calls had been going to voicemail.
So her sister went over to the house.
Asia, it's me!
You know that something isn't quite right because you know this person. You know this is not normal behavior for them.
Just as the sister's worry is turning to full-blown panic, the door finally opens.
It wasn't Asia that answered the door. It was her 9-year-old son.
Hey, honey, where's your mom?
In her room.
The 9-year-old said his mother had been in the bedroom and had not come out.
You guys stay in here, okay? Asia?
Asia's sister tries the bedroom door,
Asia!
but it's locked.
Asia, open up! It's me!
And there's still no answer.
Asia!
She heard water running and the radio playing inside the room, but no sound of Asia.
At that point, her sister decided to kick in the door.
But she's not prepared for what she finds.
The blood in that room was everywhere.
And in the center of all that blood lay Asia Wade. "30-year-old Asia Wade had spent her whole life looking for love.
She'd had several serious boyfriends, and she'd come close to getting married.
However, when none of the relationships worked out in the long run, there was still plenty of love in Asia's life.
She had 6 beautiful kids by the time she was 29.
Being a single mom, 6 kids is tough. Getting kids up, getting baths, the bedtime routines. You've got to find a place for all 6 of the children to be during the day while you continue to work.
Asia worked at a local candy factory in downtown Nashville. Wasn't her dream job, but it provided for her family.
Even if you have a great family support, the day-to-day ins and out of being the only adult in the house is draining mentally and emotionally. That struggle is something I couldn't even imagine.
Despite her struggles, the hard-working single mom never stopped looking for someone to share her life with.
She wanted a loving husband. She wanted a father figure in her children's lives.
And she may have found just what she was looking for when a friend introduced her to D'Amico Duckworth in the spring of 2010.
Hey, how you doing?
Hi.
It's good to meet you.
D'Amico was from Arkansas, but he had extended family that lived in Nashville.
Why haven't I met you before?
I don't know, but I'm glad you meet me now.
Something sparked between them.
He was charismatic, a very charming person.
When you first meet someone and your eyes lock and your heart beats, who doesn't want them?
But would the spark stay lit when D'Amico found out Asia was a single mom to 6 kids?
I can imagine her thoughts. What man is going to want to come into that space and try to be a father figure to my kids?
You got family here?
I'm a mom.
That's great. How many kids you have?
6.
Really? It's awesome.
Really?
Oh, I love kids.
Making the big reveal of saying, I have 6 children, and that person's still saying, it's no big deal. The moment someone says something like that to you, you can't help but to say, this is the person that I want to be with.
For Asia, D'Amico seemed like the answer to her prayers.
D'Amico was a handsome man that comes in to save her and to stand in as a father to her children.
He said, I love you so much that I want to have not just you, but your whole family.
He's the love of her life.
But now, Asia's sister has just found Asia sprawled on the floor in the middle of her blood-soaked bedroom.
You see blood on the walls, you see blood on the floor pooled by her.
Seeing your sister lying in her own blood is horrific. It's an image that will take a lifetime to get out of your mind.
There are certain things that you can never unsee.
Devastated by the discovery, Asia's sister rushes to dial 911.
911, where's your murder thing? Hello? I think my sister's dead.
When officers arrive at the scene, they quickly confirm her sister's fear.
I'm gonna need a homicide.
No. Where's Clarence and now Asia? Where's
Clarence Goins?
Yeah, he's our cousin. He died last night.
When Asia's sister called 911, the Nashville police were already investigating Clarence's murder.
There could be a link between these 2 cases.
Were they dealing with a double homicide?
After struggling to find lasting love, mother of 6, Asia Wade had finally met the man she hoped would be Mr. Right, D'Amico Duckworth.
Where most men would have found the responsibility daunting, D'Amico loved the fact that she had 6 kids.
The moment someone says that, you can't help but to say, this is the person that I want to be with for the rest of my life.
Instead, her life has been cut short.
Oh my God,
Asia's sister had just found her dead inside her home.
For her sister to find her that way is something that is heartbreaking.
Even more devastating, Asia is the 2nd member of the family who's been murdered in the past 24 hours.
Around 9:30 the night before, Asia's cousin, Clarence Goins, had been gunned down outside of his apartment.
Clarence's friend, Warren Nichols, had also been wounded in the shooting.
Both men had been rushed to Vanderbilt University Medical Center in critical condition.
Clarence had died in surgery.
Before he was pronounced dead, the family had been waiting at the hospital for news on his condition.
They thought it was odd that Asia wasn't at the hospital with them.
Where's Asia? I don't know. Why don't you try to give her a call?
Which is what led Asia's sister to her house the following morning.
The timing of the murders strikes police as suspicious.
Even though her sister didn't find Asia's body until the next morning, they thought she had to have been killed on the same night as Clarence.
I would be concerned if I was a sister, brother, nephew, cousin. Am I next?
Although if someone did have a vendetta against the family, there appeared to be limits.
All 6 of Asia's children were in the home and they were unharmed.
It appears that the children didn't witness the murder.
While Asia's sister arranges for family members to pick up the kids, detectives arrive to begin their examination of the crime scene, starting with Asia's body.
Her body was mutilated. She had nearly 50 stab wounds.
Stabbing someone to death is a very up-close and personal attack.
This is likely a crime that was committed by someone who knew her personally.
However, as they look over her injuries, detectives realize that the horrific stab wounds weren't all that Asia had endured.
She had ligature marks on her neck, and there was a clothes iron on the floor nearby, leading detectives to suspect someone had used its cord in an attempt to strangle her.
Looking around the bedroom, detectives find what appears to be another critical clue.
The window screen was cut out.
Could that be how the killer gained entry?
Detectives aren't sure, but do believe it's how the killer fled the scene.
Blood was on the drapes as a person was trying to escape out through that window.
Detectives have no idea where the killer fled, but how is fairly obvious.
Asia's car was gone.
The killer had probably taken Asia's keys before fleeing the scene.
So detectives issue a bolo for Asia's vehicle.
Yeah, I need you to put out a bolo on Asia Wade's car. It is missing from the scene. Thank you.
Then turn the crime scene over to the forensic team.
Forensic techs found and photographed several bloody fingerprints around the bedroom.
They also take samples of the blood for DNA analysis.
During a knife attack like this, it's not uncommon for the assailant to accidentally cut themselves with the knife, leaving their DNA along with the victim's.
Before wrapping up at the scene, detectives speak to Asia's sister, hoping to learn more about her personal life.
Whenever there's a crime like this committed, they're going to look at the people that are closest to the victim.
Do you know who could have been here? Did your sister have a boyfriend?
According to her sister, Asia does have a boyfriend.
D'Amico Duckworth.
Does he live here?
No, but he's around a lot.
Could you give us his number?
Releasing Asia's sister to join the rest of her grieving family, detectives immediately reach out to D'Amico, who agrees to meet them at the station.
He was very cooperative and states that he has no idea anything's even happened to Asia.
Did you do anything to hurt her? Not that I know of, Officer, no. What, is something wrong with her? Yes. She's been stabbed.
He seemed completely caught off guard.
Been stabbed? Multiple times. Man, you got to speak bad. I'm just telling you the fact. She's dead.
Asked when he last saw Asia, D'Amico says that he was with her early on Monday evening, just hours before she died.
D'Amico states that he had picked her up from work and dropped her off at home.
How long were you at her house?
I don't think I was there too long.
How long is not too long?
Like 15 minutes.
Where did you go then?
You rolled around, getting very soon.
Did you stop anywhere else where someone might have seen you that can corroborate what you're saying?
I can't say that again. I'm not certain.
D'Amico insists while he did see her that evening, he would never do anything to harm Asia.
He said he'd only known her about 4 months, but he was closer to her and her children than he'd ever been with anyone before.
However, when detectives ask if there's anyone else that might want to hurt Asia, he says he does know of one man.
He says that Asia's ex-boyfriend has been in contact with Asia, and some of those contacts have been volatile.
His name is Devin Fisher.
He was leaving threatening voicemails on us, stuff like, you need to answer my phone before I kill you.
D'Amico said that he initially thought that they were just empty threats.
But now, he's not so sure.
He said there was another reason he thought Devin could be involved.
And I know that he had just got out.
He recently was released from prison.
After Asia Wade and her cousin Clarence Goins are killed within hours of each other, Nashville detectives suspect that the murders could be connected.
When investigators found Asia, they could tell that whoever did this had a score that they were trying to settle.
She'd been strangled and stabbed numerous times.
And according to Asia's boyfriend, D'Amico Duckworth, there is someone who may have a score to settle with Asia. Her ex-boyfriend, Devin Fisher.
D'Amico stated that Devin had threatened to kill Asia numerous times.
He was like, you need to call my phone or something before I kill you. I think you did. I was like, damn. He told us he like that.
D'Amico points police squarely in the direction of Devin.
He told detectives that Devin had just gotten out of prison and he was trying to rekindle his relationship with Asia.
He said he would call her repeatedly and exhibit a lot of stalking behavior towards Asia.
Based on D'Amico's statement, detectives look into his claims on Devin Fisher.
Devin quickly becomes a person of interest for law enforcement.
But when they pull the data from Asia's phone, there is no evidence that she had recently been in contact with her ex.
Law enforcement subpoenaed Asia's phone records, and they were able to go through and see who she communicated with.
Devin was not on there.
The records gave them no reason to believe that he could have participated in this.
Were they simply missing something? Before they can dig further into Devin, detectives get the call they've been waiting for.
Homicide.
They get a call from the hospital saying that Warren Nichols has come out of surgery and is able to speak to them.
Warren was with Asia's cousin, Clarence, when he was killed. And their hope was that he would be able to identify the person that shot them.
Law enforcement believes that these two murders are connected.
When detectives speak with Warren at the hospital, he tells them all he knows about the incident that put him there.
Warren told them that he and Clarence were outside Clarence's apartment when a man in a dark-colored hoodie approached them.
Do you remember anything about the hoodie, anything on it?
It was a black hoodie. Look sheep, nothing special.
Although Warren does say that he immediately knew there was something off about him.
The first thing that went through my mind, I turned around, he had the hoodie on. This was so insane.
Outside.
He was thinking, why in the world does this guy have a hoodie on? It's the middle of the summer.
See his face?
He did not get a good look at the suspect.
All Warren knows is that the man approached them and spoke to Clarence, whose street name was Murda.
He said Murda got the sound.
He was asking them for cocaine. When neither of the men responded, that's when the suspect opened fire.
You got any salt?
How many shots do you remember?
I want to say he got murdered on the first shot.
Not only did Warren almost lose his life, he had to watch his close friend lose his life right in front of him.
Detectives were hoping for an ID on the shooter. But what Warren was able to tell them raises a whole new possibility.
Investigators have to consider that this could be part of a drug deal that went wrong, and that it had nothing to do with Asia's murder.
When detectives return to the station, however, they receive another call, one that may break the case wide open.
Police are contacted by a man named Brandon Lowe.
He informed them that he lives up the street from Clarence Goins.
He says he also knows Asia's boyfriend, D'Amico Duckworth.
He and Brandon run together.
You seem pretty cool, you know?
But now he says he has information on D'Amico that he can't keep to himself.
I ain't been asleep all last night cause D'Amico at the scene my conscience bad.
He says that shortly before Clarence was killed, D'Amico had showed up at his house.
He came in the house, it's scared. You know what I'm saying?
D'Amico gave him some information that was very alarming.
He said, I just killed you, and I'm gonna go down here and kill Murda.
A friend of D'Amico Duckworth, named Brandon Lowe, claims that D'Amico confessed to killing his girlfriend, Asia Wade.
According to Brandon, that wasn't the only murder D'Amico committed that night.
He said, I just killed you, and I'm finna go down here and kill Murda.
Asia's cousin Clarence also went by the nickname Murda.
He said that, Plug kept on saying, no, don't do that, you jeopardize our family.
Brandon tried to talk D'Amico out of going through with his plan.
But D'Amico didn't listen.
Shortly after D'Amico left, Brandon heard gunshots down the road.
He then knew that the worst had happened.
Clarence and Warren had been shot.
I'm like, man, why you killing this Murda and they out right down into my house?
The details of Brandon's story lined up with what Clarence's friend Warren told detectives about the shooting.
What was he wearing?
A black hoodie.
And Brandon's sister Alexis can back up his claims.
Brandon's sister Alexis, who was also present on that day, says she saw D'Amico arrive in Asia's car.
Was he driving the car?
Yeah, I ran with the car with the black tinted windows. And so after he got out, threw the hood over his head, and he went in my mama's house. I'm like, man, something ain't right.
Worried by D'Amico's behavior, Alexis says she followed him inside.
She overheard the same conversation that her brother did. She heard D'Amico say that I just murdered my girlfriend, and now I'm on my way to kill Clarence.
Did you see Miko leave?
Yeah, after that, Miko walked on down the sidewalk.
She sees D'Amico walk in the direction of Clarence's home.
But that's not all Alexis claims she saw.
Yeah, I saw a gun in his hand.
She said that as D'Amico walked toward Clarence's house, he pulled out a gun.
And moments later, she also heard the shots ring out.
When I started hearing gunshots.
If what Brandon and Alexis told detectives is true, D'Amico has confessed to killing both Asia and Clarence.
Law enforcement's next question is, what is the motive?
According to the Lowe's, D'Amico's motives are tied to a murder that occurred a month earlier.
Their brother, Michael Johnson, had been murdered. He was a close friend to D'Amico.
Michael Johnson was gunned down in the exact same spot where Clarence and Warren were shot.
Alexis and Brandon tell detectives that their brother's death hit D'Amico hard.
He started self-medicating, even doing cocaine.
And every time he took powder, he get to acting stupid.
He may have been in a state of paranoia.
He wanted answers. He wanted someone to blame.
And according to Brandon and Alexis, D'Amico had settled on Asia.
D'Amico had heard rumors that some members of Asia's family might have been behind the murder of his friend Michael.
Nobody was ever sure why he thought that because there wasn't any proof, but he was stuck on it.
And he wanted revenge.
He decided to take matters in his own hands.
D'Amico had become extremely abusive towards Asia.
He used to beat him.
They believe that this is D'Amico's way of getting back for Michael's murder.
Now, Michael's siblings believe D'Amico had taken his vengeance to the next level.
If D'Amico thought Asia and her family were responsible for Michael's death, that would explain why he told Alexis and Brandon about the murders.
He's letting them know that he's taking revenge out on these people on behalf of the family because he probably thought that they were going to be grateful to him.
Instead, they were horrified by what he'd done.
They ended up doing the right thing and being the voice for the people that lost their lives.
Digging into D'Amico's past, the detectives discover that he is no stranger to violent crime.
He has charges which include drug offenses, aggravated robbery, rape, and a violation of parole.
This was a person who had no problem using violence.
But detectives will need more than the Lowe's statements and a lengthy criminal history to make an arrest.
So police start to interview additional family members and friends.
The biggest indication that there had been trouble in Asia and D'Amico's relationship comes when the detectives sit down with Asia's 9-year-old son.
This is the same little boy that answered the door when Asia's sister came and found her body.
He tells detectives that his mother and D'Amico fought often.
You want me to tell you what happened when it first started?
I want you to tell him today.
He said just 2 weeks before her murder, he stuck a gun in her mouth.
They put a gun to her mouth. Then that's when it all started.
Your mama told you that, or you saw that?
My mama told me that.
These kids have heard violence between their mother and this man before.
So when Asia's kids heard arguing on the night of her murder, it was nothing new.
And just slowly tell me what happened. Were they yelling at each other?
He said when it's happening, they just wait for it to end.
But this time, it ended in tragedy.
Those poor kids had no idea just how much danger their mom was in that night.
Then what?
Then they shut the door and locked it.
Between Brandon, Alexis, and Asia's son, detectives now have enough for an arrest warrant.
Police are convinced that they found their guy.
However, there is still one thing missing. D'Amico.
They're not able to locate him.
D'Amico is on the run.
Detectives investigating the murders of Asia Wade and her cousin Clarence Goins are ready to arrest 30-year-old D'Amico Duckworth. There's just one problem.
Now that you're ready to put the cuffs on him, you can't find him.
D'Amico had either fled or was in hiding.
He's probably realizing I've told too many people, they're gonna figure it out, and so I need to get out of here.
D'Amico's disappearance triggers an exhaustive search for the fugitive.
Law enforcement agencies make every effort, including the Tennessee Bureau of Investigation offering a reward for information that would lead to his capture, and D'Amico being placed on the top 10 most wanted.
Detectives also follow up with D'Amico's friends, Alexis and Brandon Lowe.
You have any idea where D'Amico might have gone?
He used to stay in Atlanta, and he had this female down there, but as far as that, that's it. Unless he went back to Arkansas.
He could be going to Forest City, Arkansas. The mom and them stayed in Forest City.
For family members, the fear is that D'Amico might still be in Nashville.
They feel very unsafe knowing that D'Amico has not been found.
Maybe he wants to take the whole family out.
But they refuse to be intimidated.
Asia's family decides to move forward with a candlelight vigil to celebrate Asia and Clarence's lives.
Yes, there may be a target on our family's back, but we're not gonna give him the satisfaction to say they won't be celebrated. We're still gonna honor them. We're still going to show up and celebrate the lives that they live the way that they deserve to be honored.
The vigil also allows the family to make a statement to the press and to D'Amico.
They asked publicly for D'Amico to turn himself in.
Whether from their pleas or from guilt, 1 week after the murders, D'Amico reaches out to the police in Atlanta, Georgia.
He said he wanted to turn himself in.
An arrangement is made for him to meet law enforcement agents at a local supermarket.
And on July 26, 2010, 7 days after the murder of Asia Wade, police finally take D'Amico into custody.
He does surrender without incident.
With D'Amico in custody, the Nashville detectives drive down to Atlanta to conduct another interview.
What we're here to discuss with you is a shooting that happened last Monday.
Detectives started out by asking him about Clarence's murder.
Clarence Goins was shot in the head. And then an associate that was next to him was shot in the leg. All right? And we've spoken to everybody over there, including witnesses, and they've implicated you in that shooting.
D'Amico admits that he knew Clarence and that he'd been at Clarence's house on the night he died.
I did go over that night. I asked him, did he have some cocaine? Did he have some salt?
D'Amico shared with law enforcement that his only intention was to buy drugs from Clarence.
But detectives suspect D'Amico had another motive.
According to Brandon Lowe, D'Amico believed that Clarence had killed D'Amico's friend, Michael.
Had he gone looking for payback?
You think he was involved in Michael's murder? Honestly, Detective, I don't know who was involved in Michael's murder.
But he did have suspicions.
D'Amico shares with investigators that he believes Asia's family had something to do with Michael Johnson's death.
I know those assumptions in the air that they had something to do with it. I was involved with one of their family members, so I could see what some people couldn't see. It was like, it was understood they didn't like me, it was understood I didn't like them.
But he says that changed after Michael Johnson was killed.
All of a sudden, they want me to go out with them, want to get high with them, have drinks.
He states that after Michael died, Asia's family completely changed the way that they approached him, that they were very welcoming and warm towards him. He almost felt as if they were trying to lure him into some sort of trap and felt like they were going to do something to him as well.
So D'Amico says that when he approached Clarence outside his house that night, he was on high alert.
I know through the streets they say he's real sneaky.
He said that as soon as he got close to Clarence, he knew that something was up.
The other guy was standing back and giving him room to do whatever he needed to do it.
Yo, my man, you got any salt?
And according to D'Amico, that's when Clarence made his move.
So he was pulling something from his pocket. We didn't actually see what it was. He was reaching in his pocket.
D'Amico feels that Clarence was reaching for a gun.
You know, I don't think I got a chance to see what he was going to put on me.
He then admits to shooting Clarence and Warren Nichols.
He said he had no choice.
I thought he was trying to kill me.
After surrendering to police in Georgia, D'Amico Duckworth has just confessed to the shooting that killed Clarence Goins and wounded his friend, Warren Nichols. However, he claims it was self-defense.
They were trying to do something to me.
D'Amico told them that he only shot the men after Clarence tried to pull a gun on him.
He's claiming self-defense.
All I know is I just shot. You can't say for certain that I actually shot him.
He's trying to mitigate his responsibility, but what he doesn't know is the evidence is already there.
D'Amico's friends Brandon and Alexis both told detectives that just minutes before the shooting, D'Amico came by their house and said he planned on killing Clarence.
And I'm about to go kill Murder.
That isn't all he supposedly told Brandon that night, either.
Brandon reports that D'Amico came to his house saying that he had just killed Asia.
The first time he talked to police, D'Amico said the last time he saw Asia was when he dropped her off at the house that afternoon.
But now, when detectives push back on D'Amico's story, he changes it.
He does admit to investigators that they had had an argument on the day that he dropped her off.
What was the argument? She thought I was messing with someone.
He stated that this is common. They argued often.
But still, he denies any involvement in her murder.
I can't see myself doing what you say. I just really can't, man. It doesn't get me.
Well, that's what you.
At this point, despite whatever he's going to say in this interview, they've got their guy.
As D'Amico awaits extradition back to Tennessee, the crime lab finishes processing the evidence from Asia's bedroom, and the case against him becomes even stronger.
The fingerprints found in Asia's bedroom matched D'Amico.
There's 2 DNA types found in the blood samples, one belonging to the victim and one belonging to D'Amico.
This is enough to prove without a doubt that D'Amico is Asia's killer.
They can charge him with first-degree murder for Asia Wade. They can charge him for first-degree murder with Clarence Goins, and also attempted murder of Warren Nichols. They've got him.
When D'Amico goes on trial in February of 2012, Asia's family fills the courtroom.
Trial can be very difficult for the families of those that have been murdered. because you have to put your grief on hold because you want to seek justice. You want to make sure that their voice is heard.
According to the prosecution, the murder of D'Amico's friend, Michael Johnson, had launched a chain of events that led to Asia and Clarence's deaths.
The prosecution argues that D'Amico's motivation was misplaced rage and retribution for the murder of his lifelong friend.
Trauma in itself can cause a lot of rage, and when you incorporate drugs, that is extremely dangerous.
If I'm using drugs to kill, causing me to potentially have paranoia, which allowed him to justify his actions.
He wanted someone to pay for what was done to his friend.
And in his drug-filled paranoia and rage, D'Amico decided that it was Asia and her cousin Clarence who had to die.
Innocent people that had nothing to do with the pain that he was feeling, he wanted them to hurt.
His vengeance came on the night of July 19th, 2010.
According to the prosecution's theory, D'Amico had taken Asia home after work and confronted her with what he had convinced himself was the truth.
Acting crazy all night.
You know what you did.
I didn't do anything. What's wrong with you?
And D'Amico's mind was vengeance. It was rage.
D'Amico decided that she had to die, so he grabbed an iron in the room. He got the cord and tried to strangle her during the argument.
Stop!
And when that failed, D'Amico grabbed a knife.
He stabbed her nearly 50 times.
He's a monster. There's no other word to describe it.
Then D'Amico made his escape.
He locked the door, turned the radio on, left the water running so that the kids wouldn't suspect anything that night.
He cut out the screen of the window and escaped and stole her car.
But his murderous rampage was only beginning.
From Asia's, he'd driven to the neighborhood where her cousin Clarence lived.
However, before going to Clarence's house, he stopped by Brandon's to brag about what he'd done.
In his mind, he was doing everyone a favor, getting revenge for Michael's death.
No, I killed her, and I'm about to go kill Murder.
Brandon Lowe testified that he tried to talk D'Amico out of killing Clarence.
Crazy stuff. Whatever, man. Hey, hold up, D.
But there was no reasoning with D'Amico.
Yo, my man, you got any salt?
It was completely premeditated.
As far as D'Amico was concerned, Asia and Clarence had it coming.
And according to the prosecution, there was no doubt D'Amico was responsible.
D'Amico admitted to shooting Clarence and his friend Warren.
He'd also left his bloody fingerprints and DNA in Asia's bedroom.
The prosecution was able to gather an overwhelming amount of evidence.
Would it all add up to a guilty verdict?
You never know what a jury's gonna do, but in this case, they convicted him on all the charges.
The testimony from the Lowe siblings, the forensic evidence found in Asia's bedroom, all of this was sufficient to find D'Amico guilty of all charges.
The judge sentences D'Amico to 108 years in prison.
108 years is something I think the family can hold on to. I think they can wrap their arms around that, but nothing, not 108 years, not a life sentence, can take back the loss of this family.
She was very close to her family. She was a family girl.
She was only 22, and there's nothing that will ever fill that hole for them.
I just had about 9 gunshots back behind my building.
He winds up locating a silver Lexus with gunshot damage to the driver's side of the vehicle.
The vehicle was locked. There was a black female on the driver's side seat, slumped over.
I saw somebody take off running.
She was always going to be his girl. That means his property.
When we got into the cell phone, there was a saved video.
She was able to speak from the grave.
He wanted to get revenge, and he didn't want her to be happy.
May 22nd, 2021. It's just after 10 p.m. in Walterboro, South Carolina. An off-duty Walterboro police officer is relaxing at home.
Sergeant Ross Hance has lived at the Forest Point Apartments for a number of years, and he was living there at the time.
At 10:14 p.m., he hears a familiar but alarming sound.
He, at that point, hears multiple gunshots. He advises here. He hears approximately 9 gunshots come from the parking lot area.
He called into dispatch and reported those shots.
Hey, I just had about 9 gunshots back behind my building in Forest Point.
All right, I'll get somebody out there.
I'm stepping outside right now to try to find out what's going on.
All right.
He proceeds to go outside to check the parking lot, trying to find a crime scene.
As the off-duty officer went to look around his cruiser, he noticed that it was a silver Lexus parked next to his car.
He winds up locating a silver Lexus with multiple signs of gunshot damage to the driver's side of the vehicle.
He saw a silver car with the windows busted out, and that's when he saw the victim.
His vehicle was locked. There was a black female in the driver's side seat, slumped over, appeared to be unresponsive.
More officers arrive on the scene.
In order to gain access to the vehicle, the responding officers had to use what's called a lockout kit.
As they attempt to reach the victim, calls continue to come in to 911.
911, where's your emergency?
We're at Forest Point. I think somebody already called because cops are already out here.
Yes, ma'am. Did you hear anything or see anything?
I didn't see anything. We just heard the gunshot. I can let you talk to my neighbor, and she can tell you what she saw, maybe. Hold on 1 second. She's coming up the stairs. She was scared because she saw something. Hello?
Did you see anybody?
I saw somebody take off running. That's what I saw.
The officers gain access to the vehicle.
The bullets clearly came from the driver's side door, so they came from the passenger side to try to render aid.
She had a lot of wounds on her from the glass that had kind of embedded in her skin and cut her when it shattered.
She had several gunshots. She was deceased. They searched the car and searched her persons, and they found her ID, which identified her as 22-year-old Denasia Holloway.
When they identified her as Denasia Holloway, Officer Hance also knew that she was also a resident within the apartment complex.
They were just trying to figure out why someone would do this in, her point of residence. This is her parking lot to her apartment. Who thought that they could do this and get away with it?
Denasia Alexis Holloway was born on January 21st, 1999. She grew up alongside 2 brothers and a family of 5.
She was the only daughter in her family. Her family really loved her and idolized her as being that only daughter.
Denasia went to R.B. Stahl High School in North Charleston, where she excelled at track and also participated in ROTC. According to her family, Denasia was an incredible track star. In her senior year, they said she broke the record for the 100-meter dash, which is absolutely amazing. She ran it in 13.5 seconds in April 1st, 2017. That's just incredible. Denasia enrolled in Coastal Carolina University in 2019, and she majored in biology, scheduled to graduate in the class of 2023.
By January 2020, Denasia was dating Justin Carroll.
Justin was 21 at the time they met. Denasia was 22. They were really young, and, you know, anyone being in love in your early 20s is going to be pretty much a honeymoon phase.
In October, the couple moved in together. They shared an apartment in the Forest Point complex, along with the Denasia's fur babies.
She was a humble, sweet person that really loved animals and loved to give her time to different, you know, organizations in the area, but also really spend time with her family and appreciated that element of her life.
In early 2021, Denasia and Justin ended their relationship, and he moved out. Denasia planned to leave her apartment in Walterboro.
She had just graduated and was coming home. She was trying to move back to Somerville to be with her family, which is where they currently lived.
Denasia also took a new job, working for a major shipping company, and started planning her future.
One night, Denasia started getting nonstop text messages from Justin. So the way she handled it, she sent him a picture of her and her friend to kind of get him to see, like, listen, I've moved on.
And she was getting out into the world again and starting to travel and seeing this new guy. Things were looking up. She was about to move out of those apartments and was looking forward to moving back home with her parents for a little while.
But on the evening of May 22nd, 2021, Denasia is dead inside her car in the parking lot of her apartment building. Homicide detectives arrive on the scene.
Well, they began to secure the crime scene to make sure none of the evidence was tampered with, and also to locate any kind of spent casings in the area.
They found 6 .40 caliber shell casings. And what's important about that is shell casings can be used for identification of the suspect, because if he loaded the gun, his prints may be on the shell casing themselves. So that is very valuable evidence.
The coroner pronounced her dead. At that point, she was removed from the vehicle. A search of the vehicle and the vehicle's processed.
A couple DNA swabs were taken from the vehicle that night. When we take DNA swabs, we don't know right away that anything is actually on the swab. You have to send that off for testing. But the palm print indicated that someone was on the outside of the vehicle touching it in some form. When Denasia was discovered, her car door was shut.
Investigators thoroughly searched the inside of Denasia's vehicle for more evidence.
Nothing was taken. Her purse was still there. Her cell phone was there, so it wasn't a robbery.
What we do when we encounter a phone or a victim, or in any case that we seize a phone, our normal process is to log it into evidence, and we do have to obtain a search warrant to go any further as far as looking into the phone.
Her phone could have any kind of messages, any kind of recordings on it. Who knows what she could have on her phone. From there, they started to canvass the area, which means that they're knocking on doors, seeing who heard what, who's seen anything. Officers noticed several residents standing on the balcony, and so they knocked on the door, asked if they seen anything, and some said they seen a male running from the scene in very dark clothing, but it was so dark, it was hard to identify his face. They said, yes, we heard the gunshots. We ran outside. We saw a possible white male running with a hood on and with a mask covered half of his face, so we couldn't really see who he was, but we did see him run from the scene.
Is the masked man Denasia's attacker?
In crimes of any nature, especially violent crimes like this one, investigators quickly will try and turn to security camera footage. And that can be, you know, from anywhere that had an angle of where this crime occurred.
So at that point, they didn't know what was going on. But the apartment complex has surveillance cameras. And so what they did was contact the apartment complex manager, who let them in to review that camera footage. You could see some movement beside her car, and then you see the stocky white male running away.
After 22-year-old Denasia Holloway is shot to death in front of her apartment building, police in Walterboro, South Carolina obtained surveillance footage from management.
They made contact with the apartment complex so they could review the video evidence, because there was multiple cameras at the scene.
On one video, investigators see Denaja's vehicle pull into the apartment complex at 10:05 p.m., minutes before the first 911 call.
They observed another vehicle following behind Miss Holloway, pull off and park out of sight of the cameras.
So as they look through the video, they can see that her Lexus pull in, backs into the space next to the patrol car. Her lights are still on.
After parking what appeared to be a pickup truck in an out-of-the-way area, they saw this white male walk towards the location where she was parked, but kind of linger around behind the building.
Within minutes, a white male subject is seen approaching the apartment complex main office, then approaching the 200 building. He's later seen walking away from the 200 building, lighting a cigarette, and then approaching Miss Holloway's vehicle.
He goes to the car, and you can clearly see that he's aggressive, talking to her, leaning over to the window. You know something's going on, but he's really blocking the view by the camera, right with his body. You can't really see what's going on.
Next thing you see is the unidentified male running away back toward the front parking area.
Even though they had this security camera footage in the nighttime, in the dark, it's still very hard to pick up any clues. They can see a figure, but they can't really make out any identifying, features of this individual.
They also can't get a clear shot of the truck. Across the street, they find more cameras.
There's a nearby church which gives us a better look at the vehicle, and as far as potential make and model, you can tell it's a later model vehicle, but we didn't have a good look at the plate.
Investigators reach out to Denaja's family to deliver the heartbreaking news.
You're never prepared for it, to see people grieving, but it's something you have to do. You approach the family and you tell them what happened and was sincere, but as an investigator, you want to make sure you let their family know that you're going to solve the case and bring justice for their family members.
When the family first found out about Denaja's death, instantly they are shocked. They are beside themselves and just don't even know how to handle this news.
The coroner is the one that actually gives the notification to the family. I and any other officers involved, we just keep working the case. That leaves me in a position to just do nothing but find the suspect.
Investigators get details about Denaja's death from the autopsy.
She had been shot at least 4 times, according to the pathologist's report. The fatal one being the shot to her neck, which killed her almost instantly.
A theory about the killing takes shape.
It was a specific target car, with none of the other cars, with nothing taken. It was shot 4 times, and it just seemed like it was just personal. It didn't seem random at all.
She did not call 911 right away, didn't try to drive away at that point. It was something personal. She knew the individual. You have to look at a possible past relationship, a friendship gone bad, a family member. So at that point, they knew that they would have to dive into her history.
Investigators run her name through the system. They learned that on January 7th, 2021, police were called to Denaja's apartment over a domestic dispute between Denaja and her then-boyfriend, Justin Carroll.
Ms. Holloway refused to give Justin her phone. He thought she was cheating. She wouldn't unlock it. He got angry. She refused to open her phone. So then he went to the back bedroom and pulled out the gun out of the dresser drawer and put it to her face.
Denaja called her mom during that incident, and her mother called the police to report this. Her mother was taking it very seriously.
By the time the police arrived, Justin was no longer there. Justin fled, taking the gun with him.
Police finally caught with him. He was charged with domestic violence, and had an order of protection put on him. An order of protection is very specific of what it does. What it does protects the victim from being contacted by the suspect. So at that time, he could not text her, he could not call her, leave any kind of message to a friend or family. He had no contact at all. It was what the order says.
After the restraining order, I believe she distanced herself a good bit from him. She stayed within the apartment complex. He had moved out at that point.
Justin went back to his grandparents and lived with them for a while, so they had totally split up and was separated. Ms. Holloway finally went back and lived by herself later on.
Police run a background check on Justin Carroll. The incident with Denasia wasn't his first brush with the law.
In 2016, Justin had 5 counts of attempted murder against him, so he's used to doing violent things.
Those charges were eventually reduced.
He had been convicted of assault and battery in the first degree, and he was forbidden from carrying a firearm.
Justin was sentenced to 8 years of probation, but his probation was revoked in March 2018 when he was found in possession of a gun and a controlled substance. He was sentenced to 3 years in prison, but released on probation in 2020, shortly before he and Denasia met. Justin's history and violence against Denasia makes him suspect number 1.
He became a person of interest at this time because he has the means and the motives to maybe do this.
Investigators pulled Justin's DMV records.
It gives us a DMV photo along with his height and weight.
They compared it to the video surveillance and his DMV photo, which listed him as 5'6", 230 pounds, and saw that there was a large resemblance there.
That put Mr. Carroll kind of at our top of our list of people we really want to talk to. At this point, we had a potential murder suspect.
Unfortunately, a lot of the times, women or men that are in these situations don't know what to do, don't know where to turn. It's sometimes embarrassing for victims to, voice their concerns, voice what they're going through to loved ones or friends. They might, not have relationships where they feel open to talk about that or not feel comfortable talking about that. There's national hotlines, different national resources, but also on a local level, a lot of the times there's nonprofits, there's different organizations that are there for you to talk to there's also a lack of resources. And so I think it raises a bigger question with where people can turn to in domestic situations where they truly don't know where to turn.
Investigators compared Justin Carroll's driver's license photo to surveillance footage taken from the scene where his ex-girlfriend, Denasia Holloway, was gunned down.
That kind of helped close the circle on him a little bit more. His height and weight and his DMV photo really kind of, it was good enough for us to say we're kind of pointed in the right direction.
Detectives also learn what kind of vehicle he drives.
That vehicle's registered to family members at an address in a different part of the city. We had made contact with the family members that night. They had notified us that he was at work, and from work called them and told them he was going to leave town and go to Charleston.
The last thing investigators need is for Justin to leave town.
Family members were asked to see if he would come back to Walterboro and talk to law enforcement.
Justin told them that he was in Ravenel, South Carolina at the time, and that he would agree to come back and speak with them in reference to the shooting.
This time, you knew he had a violent past in history, and that also that they had domestic violence between each other. So they want to get him in custody as soon as possible.
Taking no chances, investigators ping Justin's phone so they can follow his movements.
Investigators obtained a search warrant through Verizon for the GPS data location and cell phone mapping. We have an investigator with our office who conducts all the mathematical information and basically is able to show what that information means.
he was in the area of the Forest Point Apartments at the time of the murder and then headed north to the Ravenel area and then back into the Walterboro area.
The pings kind of confirmed that he was making his way back.
But suddenly, his route changes.
They noticed by picking his phone that he wasn't coming towards the police station at all.
There was a bolo put out. Be on the lookout for a white single cab GMC that was en route coming from the Charleston area.
Officers with the Colleton County Sheriff's Office located him in the area of Roberts and Boulevard, conducted a traffic stop on him.
They did a felony stop on him because you're high risk at that time because they knew he probably had a gun on him.
Put the car in park and turn the vehicle off. Take your left hand and open the door outside. Step out with your hands up. Hands on your head. Hands up. Step out with your hands up. Step out.
The police had their guns drawn. They asked for Justin to get out the car. He got out the car. He complied, and then they took him to custody.
We went ahead and towed the vehicle and seized his phone at the time, and he was transported to our Criminal Investigations Division for an interview.
Walterboro PD took him in for an interview. When he was told of Denaja's death, he was not very emotional.
Investigators asked Justin where he was at 10 p.m.
Justin had said, he left work around 10 and traveled to Charleston.
And then he had gone to see a friend in Ravenel, and they went to downtown Charleston from there. When questioned about exactly where they went and what they did, he was very short on answers. He couldn't tell them really anything at all.
Justin says his friend goes by the name Blessing Doctor. But Justin's version of his whereabouts don't match what investigators saw when they tracked his phone.
He had given us specific locations of where he had been in downtown Charleston. None of that showed on his GPS coordinates.
As suspicions around Justin grow, detectives ask him for one more thing.
During that interview, they presented him with a GSR kit. He consented.
A gunshot residue test is where a person's hands are swabbed, and what it is, the chemical blowback from a gun. When you fire a gun, it'll leave a residue in your hands. And we swab your hands. We can tell if you fired a gun within the last 24 hours.
It's not an instant test. It takes time. There's a lot of factors that play into that testing.
At one point during that interview, he did request a lawyer, so we had to let him go. I didn't have enough probable cause to arrest him at that point.
Investigators attempt to contact the man Justin said he spent the evening with.
The individual they identified as being Blessing Doctor, no one could ever make contact with him. Nobody knew anything about that individual.
It wasn't a strong alibi. In the end, I just don't think for investigators it was enough to say Justin had absolutely no part in this.
Needless to say, at that point, he's on our radar. We're going to do our best to kind of track his movements.
Investigators in South Carolina have a single suspect in the brutal shooting death of Denaja Holloway. Her ex-boyfriend, Justin Carroll. The day after the murder, they secure a warrant to search his truck.
Myself and another officer, we went through the truck. There was nothing in the truck to take. It had been completely cleaned out, and that kind of added to our suspicion.
Investigators seek a search warrant for both Justin and Denazia's phones. While they wait, they get a lucky break.
My next step was executing the search warrant for Denazia's phone. We knew that she had been with a male companion of some kind on vacation, presumably in some sort of romantic relationship. I kind of had a hunch that maybe he would know her passcode to her phone. So we went to his residence, asked if he had it, and he gave it to us. And so that way we were able to access the cell phone.
An individual lives their life through social media, texting, phone calls, communicating with friends and family. You could find a life story and history of day-to-day events of what is going on in that individual's life.
When we got into the cell phone, we went to the camera roll in the phone, and there was a saved video in the camera roll portion of the phone. It was a very short, maybe 8 to 10 second clip of Justin Carroll outside of Denazia's what appeared to be a car door. The timestamp and the date was exact to our homicide.
Denazia instantly felt this threat. She parked next to a Walterboro police vehicle, which in the instance is the safest thing to do, is trying to be as close to law enforcement as you possibly can put yourself. So she saw that immediate threat, and that's when Denazia pulled out her cell phone and began recording this interaction on Snapchat.
Ms. Holloway said, saw me in my vehicle, he's following me in my parking lot, and I'm locking my doors. So she's trying to get away from him. She wanted nothing to do with him. She even locked her doors. And he still walked up on her trying to have a conversation.
And it was very clear that it was Justin Carroll on the video.
He's wearing a COVID mask around his chin. As he approaches the vehicle, he does pull the mask up over his face. At that point, the video ends.
Seconds later, Denazia was killed.
The phone never uploaded the information to social media.
The video did not show the actual crime, just the fact that he was there and that he had been approaching her at the time of the crime, or near the time of the crime.
Investigators note that Justin's appearance in the video is different from what he looked like in his interview, just a few hours later.
They noticed in the Snapchat video that Justin had a full head of hair, a lot of big hair all over his head. But during the interview, it was shaved.
Individuals who commit a crime will usually try to change their appearance to include changing of the clothing, haircuts, facial hair.
They knew something was up because it was totally different than what it was on the video prior to the day before. So they was very concerned about him fleeing the area and trying to conceal his identity.
If Justin did shoot Denazia, he likely tried to cover his tracks immediately.
I think he probably went to somebody's house, cleaned up, showered, shaved his head, cleaned out his truck, and got rid of the gun. Because when Colleton County Sheriff's Office pulled him over, one thing that they noticed about that truck was it was extremely clean. There was not a cup, a piece of paper, a fast food bag, anything in that truck.
Looking at the timeline of what happened, he had likely ditched the gun somewhere on the way out of town, on the way to Charleston or towards that area. We couldn't exactly pinpoint where he may have tossed the gun.
With or without a gun, the video is the evidence investigators need.
At that point, we felt comfortable enough to go ahead and secure the arrest warrant for Justin Carroll.
But they need to act fast.
This time, the investigators feel that he was trying to conceal his identity and probably flee.
Obviously, from his history, he was angry. I mean, whether he was angry while they were still together, whether he was angry at Denazia for ending the relationship and filing this charge against him, I mean, Justin still was charged with domestic assault. Although he was granted bond, he was still probably angry about that allegation coming out against him. I mean, for all we know, his friends and family were looking at him through a different lens. And so I'm assuming that Justin felt angry. He wanted to maybe get revenge on Denasia, and he didn't want her to be happy. She was still this happy, sweet young woman, 22 years old. And Justin is over here now with a domestic assault charge on his record. And in the end, I think he was angry and jealous of Denasia's life.
On May 24th, 2021, 2 days after Denasia Holloway was gunned down, Walterboro police prepare to arrest her suspected killer.
Number one, you have the gunshot residue on his hands that clearly show that he had shot a gun within the last 24 hours. And then also you have the Snapchat from Mrs. Holloway's phone that shows him clearly walking up to her at the crime scene on the same night, the same time frame.
If investigators hadn't found that video as quickly as they did, he could have already been far gone.
But investigators have kept a close eye on Justin since his interview. So, on the night of May 24th, they know exactly where to find him.
When we arrested Justin Carroll, he was working at the local Pizza Hut at the time. He didn't put up any sort of fight or argument or anything like that.
And at that time, he had a mask on that he wore around his neck. This was similar to the one on the Snapchat.
If Justin had been planning to flee, he never made it.
They proceeded to conduct a secondary interview on Justin Carroll. Justin did not elaborate on any further about the incident.
If you still want to talk to us, would you still want to know where it might be staying? I still want to know you.
He refused still to talk this time. He asked for an attorney. So at this time, he's still playing hardball.
They collected the cell phone from him at that time, and they impounded the truck.
Investigators finally received the search warrant for Justin's phone.
We had the forensic dumps of the cell phones. Cole's phone seemed to have been pretty much wiped clean. The text message exchange that appeared on Denasia's phone was actually not on Cole's phone at all.
The oldest text messages between Denasia and Justin were sent 5 days before the murder.
Her messages began with Justin Carroll when she went to Jacksonville, Florida on vacation. Justin basically was trying to start conversation with her about, money, needing items for work, that he still was in love with her. And then quickly the conversation turned jealous, and he started accusing her of being with somebody else.
When she did respond finally that she was in Fort Lauderdale and that she was with someone new, I think that was the straw that broke the camel's back. And he said, go ahead and have fun while you can. To me, that seems like the threat.
Males that are a perpetrator of domestic violence, they feel like their victims are their property. And because of that, they can never, date anybody, go with anybody. And just in mind, she was always going to be his girl. That means his property.
5 days later, Denasia returned home to Walterboro.
There was some serious concern about her driving home with her own vehicle. Her father allowed her to take his vehicle and drive home to her apartment in Walterboro.
She left her parents' house at about 9 p.m. that night, and he was on her tail as soon as she came into the apartment complex, which was about 10:07. I don't know how he knew exactly when she was getting home, but he did. He had obviously been watching and waiting.
There was nobody else around that vehicle at the time. It was just him. And ultimately pulled a gun and shot her multiple times.
Justin is in custody, but bringing him to justice will be up to prosecutors. They know a guilty verdict isn't guaranteed.
It is a circumstantial case in that the entire murder was not caught on film, but everything conclusively pointed to Colt. And when you put all the pieces together, that's when you see the big picture.
In April 2024, Justin Carroll goes on trial for the murder of Denasia Holloway.
It took almost 3 years to get to trial in this case, but we did finally get there.
Denasia had a large group of family supporters backing her, her mother, father, family members. Everybody showing up to show support and want justice for this crime.
Mom gets very, very emotional. It was very difficult for her to take the stand, but it was very important, and she knew that. She was able to lay some of that foundation.
She talked about Justin's first arrest, having to call 911, the urgency of having to pack up Justin's things to get them out of the apartment, even having to change her daughter's cell phone number several different times. It was a very scary and stressful situation for the both of them.
After the breakup, and despite the no contact order, Justin continued to harass and threaten Denasia.
So at that time, he could not text her, he could not call her, leaving kind of message to a friend or family. He had no contact at all. It was what the order says. But he violated several times because he refused not to stop seeing her, texting her, harassing her. He stalked her, and he simply would not stop.
Although no forensic evidence definitively places Justin at the scene, the result of a gunshot residue test is another strike against him.
The interesting thing about the gunshot residue evidence in this case is that there was just one particle on him of gunshot residue. Gunshot residue begins to slough off of you as soon as you shoot or are near a shot firearm. We believe that Justin Cole Carroll went and cleaned up and changed shirts, but this was one particle that he missed, and there's no reason that he should have had any gunshot residue on him, given what he was telling police. The best evidence that we had was a video that had come from Denasia Holloway's camera. I've never had my victim be the star witness in a murder case before, and thankfully, she took that video and was able to get justice for herself. I mean, that's incredible. I've never seen a piece of evidence like that. She was able to speak to the jury from the grave.
These, key pieces of evidence are coming out against Justin. The gunshot residue, the video. Those are the things that really make it hard to believe that he didn't do it.
Justin's defense is straightforward.
Their defense was that there's reasonable doubt, that you can't really see him in the video's not that clear.
After less than 30 minutes of deliberation, the jury delivers its verdict.
The verdict was guilty, and he was sentenced to 60 years.
When the final verdict came out, Denasia's family was a sense of relief. Instant tears between all family members.
Denasia's family was point blank saying this would have never happened if he had not been let out on bond for his first charge. They were frustrated with that because if the judge had not made that decision, Denasia would possibly still be here today. She was only 22 and she was the only daughter in the family. And there's nothing that will ever fill that hole for them.
I wish that we had been alerted that he was having contact with her prior to the murder. but it's difficult. You don't know whether you're going to stir something up or stop something. And I think she was doing the best she could. It is tough to protect yourself from people that resort to this kind of violence over a very small thing.
What should have happened was, and this is what we always kind of advocate for, if she had let it be known or had the awareness to know that every time he reached out to me, even with it via text, Instagram, social media, let the police know, make them aware, because he could have been in jail. At the end of the day, I feel like this will bring awareness to our young African-American women to, if you're in a domestic violence situation, get away and make sure you contact the police.